to get out in front of this and, tried to persuade Netflix not to come forward with it. I think it's an interesting argument because what they're claiming is, Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, has had a long-standing, animosity against Diddy and sort of vice versa. And because he's at the helm, they're arguing this can't be taken seriously. This should sort of be seen as propaganda. And one of the things that Netflix hit back with was, yes, he's the executive producer. He doesn't necessarily have creative control.
The situation becomes even more explosive when investigators and journalists discover that the prison call is now connected to a major streaming documentary project. Suddenly, the leaked audio isn't just gossip floating around the internet. It's part of a much larger media storm. The project is tied to the streaming giant Netflix, which has reportedly been working on a documentary exploring the collapse of Diddy's empire and the controversies surrounding him. But what really ignites the drama is the name attached to the production. The documentary is being executive produced by 50 Cent, a rapper and entrepreneur who has spent years openly criticizing and mocking Diddy in public interviews and online posts. Their rivalry has been well known in the hip-hop world for decades, filled with sarcastic comments, subtle jabs, and moments of open hostility. Now that rivalry suddenly takes on a new dimension. Supporters of Diddy immediately argue that the documentary cannot possibly be objective if one of his most vocal critics is involved behind the scenes. They claim the project is nothing more than an attempt to damage his reputation even further. Meanwhile, Netflix responds carefully, explaining that an executive producer does not necessarily control every creative decision in a documentary, and that the material was obtained legally. The debate spreads across the industry almost overnight. Is this a legitimate investigative project exposing hidden truths? Or is it the latest chapter in a long-running feud between two powerful figures in hip-hop? As more people begin analyzing the leaked phone call, attention shifts toward the strange language used during the conversation. The phrases sound almost theatrical, filled with unusual references that don't immediately make sense. Words like worm food, requests for vitamin E, and mentions of other oddly specific items suddenly become the center of intense speculation online. Internet communities begin replaying the audio repeatedly, slowing it down and isolating certain words in an attempt to understand whether the phrases are simply random expressions or something more deliberate. Some listeners believe the words are harmless and meaningless, the kind of odd phrases people sometimes use when speaking casually. Others are far less convinced. They believe the language could be coded instructions meant for people on the outside, a way of communicating without drawing direct attention from prison authorities. The idea spreads rapidly because it fits an image many people already associate with powerful figures who refuse to give up control even when they are confined. If the theory is true, it suggests that the man behind the voice still believes he has the ability to coordinate things beyond the prison walls. That possibility makes the audio far more than a simple recording. It turns it into something that sounds almost like a signal, one that investigators...
Just as the documentary controversy reaches its peak, a separate legal development sends shockwaves through the entertainment world. A lawsuit emerges from a man who claims he had a disturbing encounter with Diddy years earlier. In the filing, the man alleges that during a tense confrontation, Diddy made a chilling statement referencing the murder of legendary rapper Tupac Shakur. According to the claim, the remark was delivered as a threat, a way of reminding the man that powerful people sometimes have the ability to make problems disappear permanently. The alleged statement immediately captures public attention because it connects Diddy's name to one of the most famous unsolved tragedies in music history. For decades, Tupac's death has been surrounded by speculation, rumors, and conflicting theories about who might have been responsible. Hearing that his name was allegedly invoked during a threat gives the story a darker edge, suggesting that the tragedy may have been used as a symbol of intimidation long after it happened. The lawsuit does not prove that the claim is true, but the timing of the accusation, arriving while documentaries, prison calls, and legal battles are already dominating headlines, makes it impossible to ignore. Suddenly, the past is colliding with the present, and an event that shook the hip-hop world nearly 30 years ago is being dragged back into public conversation. The renewed attention surrounding Tupac's death
quickly leads people back to a controversial figure who has spoken about the case many times over the years. Dwayne Davis, often known by the nickname Keef D, has repeatedly claimed in interviews that a large sum of money was once offered to eliminate Tupac and another rival figure in the music industry. For a long time, those statements were dismissed by many observers as unreliable stories from someone with a long criminal history. Critics argued that the claims sounded more like attempts to attract attention than genuine confessions. But as legal developments surrounding the case begin moving again, those old interviews are suddenly being revisited. People who once ignored them are now re-examining every detail, comparing the statements with newly surfaced allegations and testimony. The possibility that some part of those earlier claims might connect to current legal disputes gives the entire situation a sense of renewed urgency. Whether the stories are accurate or exaggerated, they continue to hover over the conversation, reminding everyone that the mystery surrounding Tupac's death has never truly been resolved.
The speculation grows even more intense when legal analysts begin discussing the possibility that Diddy could eventually be called to testify in relation to the long-running investigation. The idea may sound unlikely at first, but experts explain that complex cases sometimes require witnesses who were never originally charged with anything. If investigators believe that someone might possess information relevant to the events of 1996, they can attempt to bring that person into court to answer questions under oath. That scenario creates a complicated situation. If Diddy were asked about allegations linking him to the rumors surrounding Tupac's death, any statement he makes would carry enormous consequences. Denying the claims might create new legal debates, while refusing to answer could trigger another wave of speculation. Even the act of being connected to the case again would reopen old wounds in the hip-hop community. The mere possibility of this outcome is enough to send reporters scrambling for details because it suggests that a decades-old mystery could suddenly intersect with the current legal troubles surrounding one of the industry's most powerful figures.
While the legal battles and historical controversies dominate headlines, another story quietly begins unfolding behind the scenes: the financial pressure surrounding Diddy's business empire. For years, his brand represented extraordinary success, with ventures ranging from music labels and clothing lines to beverage partnerships and media companies. At one point, his wealth was estimated in the hundreds of millions, making him one of the richest figures in hip-hop history. But recent reports suggest that managing those assets has become far more complicated. Some sources claim that outside management firms have taken a larger role in overseeing financial operations connected to his businesses. Insiders whisper that certain staff members have complained about delayed payments, while rumors circulate that legal teams handling multiple lawsuits are working without immediate compensation. None of these claims alone would necessarily signal a collapse, but together they paint a picture that looks very different from the image of an unstoppable billionaire controlling everything from behind the scenes. The empire that once appeared solid and untouchable may now be facing serious pressure from multiple directions at once.
As these financial concerns grow, federal authorities continue examining the assets connected to Diddy's companies and personal holdings. Investigators are reportedly studying whether certain properties or business interests could be subject to asset forfeiture, depending on the outcomes of ongoing legal cases. That process, if it were ever approved by a court, could potentially involve the seizure of expensive homes, luxury vehicles, and other high-value possessions associated with his business network. The mere possibility of such action represents a dramatic shift for someone who spent decades building one of the most recognizable brands in entertainment. What once symbolized influence and power, private jets, massive estates, and global business partnerships could suddenly become pieces in a legal battle over responsibility and accountability. Whether any of those steps will actually happen remains uncertain, but the investigation itself shows how dramatically the narrative has changed. The story is no longer just about a celebrity facing controversy. It has become a complex saga
involving leaked recordings, historic accusations, and the uncertain future of an empire that once seemed impossible to shake.